There's some things that I noticed about what happened yesterday that I wanted to point out. And this is specifically around the security that was in Trump's detail yesterday, July the 13th, on that attempt that happened. That really shines a light on this so-called feminism, this empowerment, this diversity, this equity, this inclusion, this Rosie Riveter-like propaganda that is constantly being pushed to everybody in America. Now, also, as we're going through this information, I want you to ask yourself this question. If you were the most hated president in US history, would you want a female bodyguard? Okay, guys, feminism has fallen. The great whore. No, it's not that biblical, but I just wanted to point out a couple of things here. This should be proof to you that this does not work. You have a female here who is clearly not aware of what's going on. If you doubt me, let's just bring up the footage, okay? Now, you recognize this woman? Look, pay close attention to this woman. Now, let's go right here. Now, let's go to a group of them. You're gonna see where she is right now. Trying to look professional, you know. I don't know. Are they gonna leave? Is the Chevy gonna leave without him? Looks like they're trying to hold on to the door. She's like, you guys gonna let us in? Apparently not. Okay, they're not gonna let us in. All right. To me, the footage speaks for itself. Now, granted, could you replace these three women with men? And they could have looked just as frantic? Yes. And it would have been an embarrassment, but for a different reason. But I want to focus on the woman with the short hair, the shortest hair, because I want to show you guys one other photo. This is the same lady. Now, granted, maybe she was just on her way to go and get the president. Maybe she was on her way to get the president, okay? I just wanted to throw this in there, but I'm just trying to explain that this does not look good. But we're gonna make things worse now for you guys, okay? Because I'm gonna play this footage of a woman who is the director of the Secret Service saying this about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, I want you guys to pay close attention to what the female director of the Secret Services said on CBS News, okay? Listen to this.
To expand hiring, they're aiming to have 30% women recruits by 2030, and even allowed YouTube influencer Michelle Carre to train with agents.
Wow, look at her fire a shot, guys. She's doing training.
I'm very conscious as I sit in this chair now of making sure that we need to attract diverse candidates and ensure that we are developing and giving opportunities to everybody in our workforce, and particularly women.
So they have a preference of hiring different diverse people. That can mean diversity, equity, inclusion. It can mean gays, it can mean women, it can mean minorities. But amongst the hierarchy of preferential treating, you have the minorities, but then on top of that, to bolster that, you have females. Why? Why?
That workforce will be pivotal for the 2024 campaign season, which for the first time includes a former president who already has lifetime protection. Agents were there.
So now let's just juxtapose both videos on top of each other, okay? Let's have both footages speak for themselves.
To expand hiring, they're aiming to have 30% women recruits by 2030.
We need to attract diverse candidates and ensure that we are developing and giving opportunities to everybody in our workforce, and particularly women.
That workforce will be pivotal for the 2024 campaign season, which for the first time includes a former president who already has lifetime protection.
This is expectation versus reality. So long as there is a woman there, it doesn't matter if a president gets his head potentially blown off. As long as there's a female that go like this. That's all they need. That's all we need, baby. That's all we need, baby. Get those females in there, baby. That's all they need. That's all they care about, apparently. So this is me digging further and further into it. Diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility program. The United States Service is dedicated to maintaining an environment that is free from all forms of discrimination, harassment, retaliation for engaging in protected activity. This assurance extends to all employees, formal employees, contract employees, advocates for employment, and blah, 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 blah. So here we're going to go down. We're going to look. So look, if you're African, Asian, Hispanic, Indigenous, LGBT, you're one category. But if you're a woman, you get even more treatment. So the patriarchy, how can the patriarchy serve you today, female? If you're black and you're a woman, we'll give you even more treatment. Just by having a vagina, this is what we will give you. We assure you this. The FWP works to ensure women receive equal opportunity in recruitment, selection, and training, and advancement in the workplace. Well, it looks like they failed on this front because women apparently are not trained to holster their gun. Apparently they're not, because it took her about how many seconds? Let's go ahead and count it, guys. Let's go count it. How many seconds did it take her? 2, 3, 4. 10 seconds? It just looks like a charade. And ultimately, this is what the left is all about. They're about keeping up appearances, keeping up the optics until it's too late. We saw it with Biden, the idea
that you have a right.
Mr. Poop Your Pants Biden, Depends, Pull-Ups Biden.
Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
We've seen it with Sleepy Joe, and we see it now. It's blatant now. This is what they want. It's a world of just lip service and veneers. But behind the veneers, just rotten teeth. Here's what I don't understand. Why, by virtue of having a different sexual organ, should you be afforded preferential treatment, even if it's quite clear that you're not fit to do the basic things that the job requires? It seems to me that diversity, equity, inclusion, it makes it quite obvious that they're willing to be principled to a fault. Maybe it's to prove a point. Maybe it's regardless of the consequence. And unfortunately, if you're doing things the wrong way, you can still be principled, but it can have very disastrous results because it just becomes a hill that you'll die on until you're dead. It's highly ideologically driven and it's absent of reality. And this just shows they don't particularly look trained. They don't particularly look like they know what they're doing. They look like chickens with their heads cut off. It looks very unorganized. Look, it's okay to want to be a woman, but it's not okay to try and compete against men. Know your place, know your role. That sounds me. I do not care, because ultimately, at times, presidents' lives can be at stake. This is reality, and we need to get back to reality. So I don't really care who this offends, but this is why you guys need to stay home and cook, clean. Don't need to be doing any jobs that would compromise the fate of the country. I'm sorry. That's the stance I'll take on it. So I guess that's where I'll leave it. That's where I'll end it for today. I'm interested to know you guys' thoughts. What do you guys think of this whole debacle? Glad that Trump's okay, but it seems that it kind of shed some light on a lot of the issues that I've been talking about regarding women in the workforce.